Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Miles Morales, back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast. And as always, I'm joined by Babby.
Yes.
Yes. This is our first episode on most podcast streaming services. So, hello, welcome. Kind of weird to be doing a first episode again. But here we are.
After 133.
Yes. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, what we're going to call this episode on Spotify. If we're going to release our back catalog on Spotify, I don't know.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. I would have to download all of our stuff from YouTube.
I feel like a lot of our podcasts before 100 are not worth watching. So
Yeah. I mean, it's good that they're still archived.
yeah,
somewhere.
they're still available. But
They're still available. But, I wouldn't recommend listening to them. Even some of the ones like, past 100, they're pretty topical in terms of like news and stuff we're talking about. I guess some of the discussion bits where like we're talking about movies and TV shows that we've watched that aren't necessarily, new stuff. I'm going to be
they're
talking
usually
about
not
some
new
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. So some of that stuff is interesting. I don't know. I don't listen to this podcast after I edit it because why would I do that?
True.
But suffice to say, welcome to the Boy Time Podcast. If this is your first time listening to the Boy Time Podcast, well, hello. We do a music reaction channel. That's just called Boy Time. You can find that linked on the podcast description. I believe that's where I put it. Also just directly linked. But we talk about a whole lot of stuff. We talk about TVs, movies, music, gaming, miscellaneous, who asked for this news, along with just, what are we consuming? Not food, but in terms of art.
Drugs.
LSD, DMT.
DMT.
We're actually in talks with Joe Rogan, trying to get him on. So the more we can talk about DMT this episode, the better, I think. Just trying to get into that niche a little bit. So hopefully that works out. Haven't heard back from him. I sent an email to Joe Rogan at AOL.com. Haven't heard back yet. Yeah, no, I get that, He's probably like, what does he do? Like a UFC guy? That's his thing?
He's a UFC guy. He's been doing podcasts with Alex Jones and stuff.
Right.
So he's been busy.
Of course. So, he's probably just hasn't checked his email yet. Or like, does ivermectin affect your vision at all? Does that
It might.
Cause, he might not even be able to see his email.
He might have the intern reading out his emails. So
yeah. Oh no. Too bad for Joe Rogan because he's missing out on this guest spot, which is mighty unfortunate. But yeah, let's talk about the news this week. I think that this is like the calm before the storm. I think next week we're going to be getting a whole lot of stuff. We got the Game Awards coming out next Thursday. I think that is the 9th. Yes, the 9th. I think Jeff Keighley is dropping a hype video tomorrow as of us recording it. That would be Sunday the 5th. He's dropping that. I was hoping that he would drop that a little bit beforehand so that we could kind of dissect what's going into that because he did something like that for the Summer Games Fest, and that kind of gave us some hints as to what was coming, and that was kind of interesting to get to see. So I imagine it would be kind of like that, but sorry, that isn't out yet. But that is going to be coming out on Thursday. I think we're going to watch it, aren't we?
Yeah, we got our stream kit and stuff.
We did.
so-
We got our stream kit. I don't know where we're going to be streaming that. If we are even going to be streaming that. I just kind of
It'll be
want to
on
see
YouTube.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been getting into watching these gaming events live. Usually I haven't really done that in years past, but ever since I've been doing this podcast, I kind of feel like, maybe I should take this whole journalism thing a little bit more seriously and not just look at headlines. And so I watch these an hour long presentation and only like 5 minutes of it is interesting.
True.
And, that's fun to me now. I don't know what exactly I've turned into.
It makes the things that you're interested in more interesting.
It
'cause
does.
Everything else is garbage.
Yes, it really is a standout moment.
I love when I watch PlayStation showcases and there's 45 minutes of anime games and then one game stands out that's mildly interesting and it looks like the best thing ever.
Yes. Which, hopefully we get some stuff from Sony. There is some news about that with Activision, because there had been some speculation as to what was going on with Activision and Game Awards, because there's been a lot of controversy, I think, putting it mildly, with Activision and the rest of the gaming industry. We've kind of covered that over the past couple weeks with big gaming companies like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo all kind of making these kind of public statements about not talking with them anymore or working with them, which is pretty big, I think.
There was also something with Activision in the past week, so
Oh,
very recently actually.
Yeah, I
They,
don't.
They fired Raven QA testers
Oh,
very recently, right before the holiday, a week before the new Warzone map
oh,
is released. The team that worked on it directly. So Activision fired them after them crunching, and they actually had to relocate because I am from where the Raven office is. So this is bad.
yeah.
Activision is a horrible company. I think everybody knew that.
Well, especially like that has kind of come to the forefront. Like
Yeah.
we've kind of been bashing their business stuff, but there's been a lot of
For years, but
stuff
now
going
it's
on.
like, yeah,
yeah.
it is worse than we thought. But
Imagine moving to Wisconsin and then
I know, and
Yeah.
then being fired, and you're like, what are you supposed to do? Because
Uh,
there's no other gaming industries up here either. They're all on
True,
the
yeah.
West Coast.
West
So,
Coast. They got some in Houston.
Yep.
That's where Bethesda is.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even know that would suck. Eesh. Well, I mean, hopefully there's some serious repercussions there.
Yeah.
but-
They need a whole company change up over there.
Yeah, for sure. Cole Cassidy is not going to fix it. I think
No.
that's the big thing.
You need to fire your CEO first
Oh,
and
yes,
figure out what you're doing.
for sure. But there had been some questions with the Game Awards, kind of. I think Jeff Keighley said something a couple days ago where it was like, we're not going to say anything about the situation. We're here to celebrate the gaming industry. We don't really want to take away from the celebration by bringing up this controversy. And I think he did kind of rightly get some flack for that, because you kind of need to stand up for the people in the industry if you're going to celebrate it. And he released a statement last night at 11:47 p.m. I have the statement here. It is a series of 4 tweets from Jeff Keighley's personal Twitter. And this is what it says. Beyond its nominations, I can confirm that Activision Blizzard will not be a part of this year's The Game Awards. The Game Awards is a time of celebration for this industry, the biggest form of entertainment in the world. There is no place for abuse, harassment, or predatory practices in any company or any community. I also realize we have a big platform which can accelerate and inspire change. We are committed to that, but we all need to work together to build a better and more inclusive environment so everyone feels safe to build the world's best games. All of us are accountable to this standard. Incredible games and the talented developers who build them are who we want to celebrate. See you Thursday. I think that's,
That works.
that works. Uh, you know, I think like it would have been a bad look if the Game Awards did like a big showcase for like Overwatch or something. That would have been bad.
It's just hard because a lot of the people making the games are like, that's their child right there, and then
Right.
their abusive company like kind of takes away from their work.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the whole thing with like Joseph,
Yeah.
the Hazelight guy, where he's like,
Mhm.
I work for EA, and they're like, they've been nothing but like great to me, but like, yeah, they do they do some mistakes. Um, so I think that's kind of the way to do it. Like, I know that like if you go to the Game Awards website right now, there is like I think it's like the jury page or something, and it has like every single CEO from like Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, and Activision listed. So, and that has remained the same even today since the statement. Um, but honestly, like he was involved, so like I don't know if they can get rid of that because he was on the nomination jury. But I think going forward, hopefully, for next year's Game Awards or Summer Games Fest or whatever, let's just, not until they get all this figured out. So I don't know. That was kind of the big thing with that going on. There hasn't been a whole lot of news as to like what's coming or what's going to be going on in the Game Awards. They've been talking a lot about presenters, but honestly, that doesn't really matter. Like the fact that Keanu Reeves and the chick from The Matrix are going to be presenting an award is not, that's not newsworthy.
That's just the award show stuff.
That's just award show stuff, and I don't really care about the award show itself. I care more about the like reveals that are going to be happening, and the interviews with developers are always fun. And they might get Joseph back because it takes two.
I love Joseph.
I hope he comes back. I saw Jeff.
He's a great interviewer. I love
He
him.
is. He's like he tells it like it is, brother.
He does. He's very passionate.
Yes. I saw Jeff Keighley retweeted that very famous one that he did at the last Game Awards where he was talking about A Way Out, and it's where it's like fuck the Oscars.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, it's I hope he comes back. I would love to see another Joseph interview, even though it's after his game came out, which we still need to finish.
True.
Eventually, we'll get to it.
No rush.
No rush. We're almost done, I think.
Yeah, we got a couple hours left.
Yeah, but it's good. I enjoy it a lot. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of news this week. It's gonna be mostly discussion. I actually only had that little bit of news. Oh, and then there was the Sony news. Did you see the Sony news?
Which Sony news?
PlayStation.
There's been a lot of. Okay, no, I didn't see the PlayStation news.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's that, and then there was the Spider-Verse trailer dropped like a couple hours before we got on to record this, factually. But there was some PlayStation news with a question mark. It's not official, but like I've seen some pretty big name gaming journalists talk about it, so I feel pretty comfortable in relaying that information on the podcast. Sony looks like they're getting ready to compete with Xbox Game Pass. More so than PlayStation Now, which is an embarrassment, frankly.
True.
Nobody wants to stream games anymore. It was like a gimmick in the early 10s, and it doesn't really work very well unless you're on like absolute like Google Fiber internet. And even then, it's choppy. So I think they're trying to remedy that. Right now, it's codenamed Spartacus. I doubt that's gonna stick.
That sounds like an Xbox name.
Yeah, that does sound like an Xbox name. The only thing I can think of is that there is definitely going to be another 300 game based on Zack Snyder's historical
Of course.
epic.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what they're tying into there.
Little teaser.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's being pitched as a 3-tier service that will merge PlayStation Now with PlayStation Plus. And then the highest tier reportedly includes PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PSP games. So we're going like way back, which PlayStation Now, I'm pretty sure maybe it does PlayStation 2. I don't know if it does PlayStation 1 or
I don't know.
P.
I'd love the PlayStation 2 ones, though. There's a lot
Yeah.
of bangers on there that I'd like to revisit.
I agree. I think it would be. I mean, it's an untapped market for sure.
It is. Yeah.
You know, Xbox Game Pass. Maybe it has a little bit more on the console like version, but there's not a whole lot of like classic Xbox games that you can play on Game Pass. But the PC one is a little bit more for PC people. So like they have
Yeah,
like the old Age of Empires and Fallout games and stuff. But I would love to see some like classic PlayStation games come like
Ported
with
well,
this.
please.
Ported well, yeah.
A lot of Xbox Game Pass games are not ported very well.
Yes. I that's the thing. I have not seen anything about the PlayStation or the PC if there is going to be a PC version.
I'm
Sony,
sure there will be if they're competing.
if
but
they're trying to,
the
yeah.
quality of it.
Yeah. Sony games on PC tend to not be very good, in my experience. Granted,
Yeah.
I'm not on like a supercomputer.
Shouldn't have to be, though.
Shouldn't have to be. My PC is better than a PlayStation 4, and, you know, I can't run Detroit
On
Become
board with
Human.
the PlayStation 5. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried. Horizon is still rough, but that was like rough on arrival. When I tried Detroit Become Human, that was when it first came out, and it was rough. So I just think that their PC ports just tend to be kind of rough off the bat, which is
God of War
weird.
better be good. So
I
wanna
hope
buy that
so.
on PS4. I just want to play it on PC.
Yeah, just wait. If wait for the reviews to come out. I wouldn't pre-order God
Yeah.
of War.
No, I wouldn't pre-order it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna chill and wait.
Yeah.
I've waited long enough already, so
It's yeah. Just wait for it to be good because I want you to play it when it is good.
I want to experience the game fully. so,
Yes, yes. And you kind of need it to run well
yeah.
because it's very pretty. Yeah. And if you can get that ish running at 60 FPS and like good graphics, then it's going to be
Which
golden.
I can do with most every game. So
Yes.
this will be the test.
Yeah. So hopefully, but we'll keep you posted on that. That's like early January, I think, right? Like the 7th or something.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So look forward to that. But back to this whole PlayStation Game Pass thing. Looks like it's going to be coming out in the spring. It's going to retain the PlayStation Plus branding. And I've seen some reports that are saying that you should not expect this to include big new games day one like Game Pass. But the expectation is going to be it's going to be better than PlayStation Now, which
Which is not a very high bar.
not a high bar, but it is a little bit disappointing because I think that's like one of the biggest draws for
That is your
Xbox
big
Game
seller
Pass.
for Game Pass. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. So where it's like, well, I wouldn't play Halo
right.
Infinite.
Or I wouldn't pay $60 for Back 4 Blood, but $10 a month? Like, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that, we're obviously a ways out from it coming out. This isn't even officially said by Sony yet. Honestly, I don't know if this is something that they would announce at the Game Awards, but they announced the last Xbox at the Game Awards. So honestly, who knows? Maybe. So we'll see. But that's kind of what's been going on with that. I would love to see some like Metal Gear, some Crash Bandicoot, some Jack and
Give me some
Daxter.
Midnight Club games.
Midnight
I
Club.
love Midnight Club.
I don't even know what Midnight Club is.
It's a racing game.
Okay.
We've got Need for Speed and Forza on Xbox. I'd love some Midnight Club. That was like my thing on the PS2 days.
Man, I've never even. Oh, it's by Rockstar.
Yeah,
What the frick? Okay, yeah, that would be epic.
it was like the GTA I was allowed to play, basically. But also,
Okay.
like, maybe some WWE TNA games. Those are classics on the PS2.
Oh, okay.
Those would be fun to play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the selection is going to be.
Yeah,
Especially
because
with
they
this.
need really compete. Because those are very different than what you get on Xbox.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing with like, especially like the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, there was so many genres being like covered by big studios. Where like Insomniac was making a whole lot of stuff, and Rockstar and Naughty Dog, like these big name people were like, let's make a 3D platformer when we should be making
They
Uncharted.
were bangers.
They were bangers, absolutely. But like, they were trying to compete with Nintendo, and Nintendo kind of was the mainstay. So they were like trying to throw everything at the wall, seeing what stuck.
Mhm.
So that was what was kind of so great about that generation, is just how much variety was there. It would be interesting to see, exactly what they're going to put on the streaming service. But since there's tiers, you could theoretically like make one that has more, fighting games or whatever, like a cable box subscription. But I really wouldn't be a big fan of that. But
I
they
wouldn't
could.
either.
They
Yeah.
could. Again, we're just going off of reports here. So we'll have to see what happens with that in the future. I think it's a good move because Xbox Game Pass is kind of the only option in terms of like good subscription services.
Mhm.
Sorry, Nintendo.
It's
Should
not
have
hot take at
should
all.
have
It
ported
sucks.
Ocarina of Time better, I guess. But yeah, that's a thing. So we'll have to see. I think Sony has the potential to take on Xbox because this is the only thing that Xbox really has that's better than Sony at the moment in terms of what I like to play. I like that they're giving Rare their wings back, and they seem to be buying a lot of studios that are good. But they also bought Rare and then made them make Connect shovelware games. So,
Yeah.
uh, we'll see. I don't know. Just because you bought Bethesda doesn't mean that Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield's going to be good.
I mean, Bethesda's been going downhill though, so maybe it's a little bit of a
True.
lifesaver.
Yeah, I don't know what else. They buy so much stuff. I can't think of any
Yeah, I can't
specifics
tell.
right now. It's like everyone's either getting bought up by PlayStation, Microsoft, or like Epic Games. It's like, oh, okay. So yeah, we'll see. But that's pretty much all the gaming news I have. The only other news I have is that Spider-Verse trailer that just dropped. I do, I, I have a finals week this week, and instead of working on any of that, I spent all day trying to finish Red Dead in time for the podcast. And I was on the last chapter, and so like, it'll probably take me like 4 or 5 hours, but I'm just like determined, and it took all day. It was rough because the last chapter is not very good, and then there's a 2-part epilogue that apparently is 6 to 7 hours long.
That's classic Rockstar game making, I think.
Oh man, this game is so long.
Yeah.
I was so ready to I was like, okay, this is it. And I think like without giving too much away, like I've got the ending. Like I haven't played Red Dead 1, so I really don't know much about
Red Dead 1's great.
I assume so. I tried to play it on PlayStation Now, but
Maybe when the service gets better. You can
Oh,
play it.
for sure. Yeah. As
Red
soon
Dead
as
1's really good.
Yeah, I would love to play Red Dead Redemption 1. Because Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption 1.
Yeah,
So
that's
it,
true.
it feels a little weird because it's like watching like the Star Wars prequels before watching the original trilogy, and it's like why is
You
this
don't know full
character
context.
important?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that like Red Dead Redemption 1, you're trying to track down Dutch Vanderland, and that's like the leader of the gang in Red Dead Redemption 2. And so like the story is kind of like, oh, you're falling out because he eventually turns into a bad guy. That leads to the events of the first game or the second game. I don't know. But like that's the interesting bit. But like I don't know exactly what happens to John Marston, like that everyone else did when they played these games sequentially. But I never had a PlayStation 3 or an X. It was on Xbox, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And we played it on the 360.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I know. Well, no, that was Rockstar. They did both.
yeah.
Yeah. Except now they're like the Sony thing, I guess. I don't know. I guess
It's one of those weird exclusive deals where they come out on both consoles, but one console has like advertising rights and stuff.
Yeah, like they showed GTA 5 at like the PlayStation showcase and they're like, "We have been proud to be a PlayStation partner since like
Yeah.
GTA 3." And it's like, "Well, I mean, you've been on both the whole time." So like, okay.
I think it's advertising, special editions, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same as COD.
True. Yeah, it makes sense. But I was just really excited to give my thoughts on the game. I didn't even get to the house building song.
Dang it.
I know. I was like, when is it gonna happen? It's gonna happen, and I didn't even. And now next week, frick, man, I like the wind is like completely out of the sails because I was like gunning for the ending so bad, and then
It's the same with GTA 5. It just goes on forever and ever.
I know, and this game is so big, like. Up until this week, I had been like, okay, I'm going to kind of take my time. I don't really want to, like, speed run it because, there's so much to do. And, like, the open world is probably the best part, which is weird to say because it isn't particularly great. This game does a lot of things very okay. I wouldn't say it's, like, the best in anything. Except for maybe storytelling. It's a very good story. But, like, one of my favorite things to do in the game is, like, go hunting and, like, try to find, like, the legendary animals and, try to figure out what, like, guns I need to use to take down certain animals. Which did make me feel a little bit bad because you shoot an animal once and then it like starts whimpering and it's like, well, I don't want to be a bad guy.
I gotta shoot it
I
dead.
gotta shoot it again. Which then, if you shoot it twice, then the pelt is useless, and then you just killed something for no reason, and it makes me feel even worse.
That's a good way to like figure out what works or not, though, because the game incentivizes you. Like, don't be a bad person. Use the right weapon.
Yeah, except there's like some psychopaths that play this game that just shoot animals all
for
the
sure.
time.
Yeah.
But just me, it incentivized me to like actually do stuff right. And that was only because if you like hunt down the legendary animals, then you can turn their pelts into customizable outfits. And if you know me,
Which is the best part of any game.
that's right. I love digital dress up.
Yeah.
So give me all the outfits. I was just rocking like the same jacket throughout the whole game, and then I was like, I need to get some cool like a bear pelt or something. That would be so cool. Never found the legendary bear. I only tracked down the legendary coyote, and then when I found, I think I found like the legendary, like I don't know, the legendary wolf I found on a map, and then I found the legendary badger, I think. But I didn't track those because that was today. And so, like, I was like, I need to get through all these missions. And I looked it up, and Chapter 6 has 19 missions to it. And I'm like, I did 2 before today. And so, like, okay, I need to get through all these missions. I'm just going to do it as fast as possible so I can finish it. And those missions are long, and at this point the game devolved into like the same thing over and over again, where it's just, well, I guess all Rockstar kind of
Most
stuff.
games in general, actually.
Yeah, but I think like the Rockstar
Always
formula is
Yeah.
like you go to like drive to place, meet someone there, then you drive with that person to somewhere else.
Yep.
You do something, plan goes wrong, shootout ensues, escape, and then you get to, do something else. Do it again. Do it again 17 times in one day. That's what I was dealing with. And plus, at this point, like, a lot of the characters are kind of put on the back burner. So, like, I think this is something that Donkey actually said in his original review of the game, is that, like, you hit this point in the, like, story, and there's, like, a lot of cards, like, in this deck where it's like, I'm interested in, like, all of them. And it's like, okay, well, in this point, let's introduce, like, this Native American tribe that is being, like, ousted by the U.S. government because of oil, which I really liked that story, but it was like I don't know, 6 or 7 missions when, like, there's people that I've been.
Real story, by the way.
Oh no, it's a real story for sure.
Yeah.
No, and like and I think, like, the portrayal of it was also, like, super accurate, where it's like you had, like, the older, like, chieftain, like, that's who you're talking to, is the chieftain and his son. And the son is kind of, like, brash and, like, well, we need to, like, kind of bring the fight to them because, like, they've been, burning our sacred monuments, and, like, just they've been denying us vaccines and, like, all that stuff. Like, that's real. Like, that stuff for sure happened. And, like, then the chief is like, well, we need to kind of relax. If we go, like, all out open war, then, like, they're going to blame it on us, and they're going to be like, see these savages that are killing us, then, like, they're going to twist it, turn us into the bad guys, which, again, totally happened, and, like, for sure was a real thing they had to wrestle with. And so, like, that portrayal of it was, like, really cool to see, especially as, like, a gunslinging outlaw who's just like, I don't care, just give me money,
Yeah.
And so, like, I enjoyed the story, but, like, I don't know, there's, like, 20 people back at camp who I'm more attached to personally, because, I've been with them for, like, at this point, like, 30 or 40 hours. This game is so big. And, I've seen, like, their best of days, and I've seen their worst of days, and I'd like to see their stories continue. And instead, they just kind of dip, and it's like, okay, like, okay, fine, see ya. And, okay, let's just spend all of our time with the Native American thing, which is, again, I enjoyed it, to an extent.
It's those weird side quests in games where it's like, okay, cool, but why is this happening now? I have more important things to be doing.
Right. And I think I would have enjoyed it, but it was a very, very big part of Chapter 6.
Yeah.
Where, like, and I think some of that, too, is showing Dutch's kind of his dissent, because he's kind of using this conflict to like, distract the law, to be like, well, look, the Indians are rising up, let's fight them instead of this gang of outlaws. And Arthur at this point is like, well, I thought we had morals, like, we only rob people that are, like, they need robbing. We don't rob, like, poor people and people who are in need. We help those people. And Dutch is like, well, we're in trouble. And so, like, that, it's used in that kind of narrative where it's like, well, I mean, should we keep following Dutch? He's kind of being a weird old dude, and I don't want to spoil the quote unquote ending, except for the 7-hour epilogue. But I knew it was going to be rough when there was an epilogue, and then you do, like, a mission. I'm like, okay, it's done now. And then it, like, it does the thing when a new chapter starts, where it, like, fades into, like, a photograph, and then it said epilogue part 1.
It's that realization in The Last of Us 2 where you wake up as Abby and then realize it is
Oh.
a flashback. It's the whole second half of the game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was like, oh crap, this is another big
Yep.
part of the game. And I looked it up. I just wanted to see, like, how long it was. And most people on Reddit were like, it's too long. Like, this is like the game is a slow burn already, and this is too long. It's more than half of what the original game is. That's how long it takes.
Yikes.
Like, I can't. Like, I just had to, like, be like, okay, I can't keep playing this game any longer. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna start, and especially, I bought 3 games in the Steam fall sale. I have not played them because I've been trying to get Red Dead done. So I have not played Deathloop, The Artful Escape, or Shovel Knight, uh, which I really should play. 2 of them are at the Game Awards, and I would like to see what the hubbub's about. And there's a whole lot of games on Xbox Game Pass that were released on PC this week that I also have not tried. So I'm like, let me just please finish Red Dead. And I did not. So I will bring that. I guess I'll do a full review next week, but I got the majority of it, I think. Hopefully. I don't know if there's any more after. There's 2 parts to the epilogue.
Of course, because you need 2 parts for an epilogue.
It's an epilogue. Why is it so long? Why is this game so long, factually? But, oof. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But enough about Epic Games. Let's talk about films. Have you heard of Into the Spider-Verse?
What is that?
It's a Spider-Man movie developed
It's
by...
only one of the best animated films of the last decade.
I think it is the best animated
Okay, yeah,
film
you could
of
say
the
that too.
decade.
I just didn't want to be too controversial.
I'll be too controversial.
Okay.
Because, you know, Up...
Coco came out the same.
Oh,
decade.
frick. It's close. I don't remember. We did do that decade podcast
We did. I don't remember
special.
what the ranking was.
I believe I put Spider-Verse as my favorite with Coco second. But honestly, it's probably a
I
toss-up.
agreed with that. Yeah.
I think it's a toss-up. They're very good. And, you know, they announced there was going to be a sequel, a squeakquel, some may say. And we finally got the trailer to part 1 of the squeakquel.
Yes.
So they are going to be doing a Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, or Harry Potter Part 8 Part 1 and 2, or The Hobbit
always
Part
work
1, 2,
well.
and 3.
Okay, besides that one, those always work well.
Well, I mean, come on. This is not what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, yeah, Hobbit works, but
It's fine. It's not. It's okay. There, we don't need to go too off on The Hobbit, but the I don't know if I feel like I've said this on the podcast before, but originally Guillermo del Toro was going to direct the trilogy, and then oh frick, I forgot what came up. Something came up in Guillermo del Toro's schedule where he's like, I cannot do the Hobbit trilogy. And Peter Jackson, who directed the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, was like, I didn't want to make this trilogy, but I guess I'll do it because I do want these movies to be made. The thing is that Guillermo del Toro does a lot of CGI with monster designs, and he does it well. But Peter Jackson is all about practical effects. So if you look at a lot of the like Lord of the Rings stuff, a lot of the orcs and monster designs are like completely practical.
Beatles documentary. All practical.
It's not all practical. Because there's like, you know, there's like the big
Yeah, no,
elephant
yeah.
thing. And like, there's some stuff where obviously you can't do that. But a lot of the like special effects and stuff are practical. But there's a lot of stuff in The Hobbit where it is like Legolas will become like a CGI Orlando Bloom just to do like a backflip. And it's like, you couldn't have just gotten a stunt double to do that or something. I don't know. It's a weird mishmap of like Guillermo del Toro, like they're trying to do it as Peter Jackson. So it's kind of a weird mess. But again, we don't need to talk too much about The Hobbit because
I wasn't going to talk at all about it.
well, I just needed to defend the stance that multiple parts of the same movie tend not to be great. Because
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. They're
yeah,
not really.
because I think the worst thing about The Hobbit is that they split one book into 3 movies. Because the Lord of the Rings trilogy is 1 book, 1 movie. They
Which needs to be.
which it needs to be. Yeah. I think that's the only way to do it. Which we're kind of we're judging a book by its title. We don't know anything about this.
We know the past history, though.
We
Especially
do.
with Hunger Games, that series dive bombed so hard.
True.
in the movies, at least.
But, this is a Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man, they have many squeakquels. Some of them are better, some of them are bad. And we'll see, with this new Spider-Man movie coming out in a couple weeks. I actually bought my ticket because I didn't want to get spoiled. And I guess I will actually have that ready that week because I'll be seeing it on Friday. Not opening night because I'm not a nerd. I'm going to see it opening day. But we'll have to see how this is. It's Across the Spider-Verse. So Part 1.
Can just a side tangent.
Okay.
Can you stop naming your Spider-Man movies very similar to each other? It makes me as a casual viewer really angry because I can't tell which one I'm watching.
Yes, I agree. I think that this is kind of a stupid name. And
The only Marvel thing I care about is Spider-Man, and they make it really confusing with the naming.
Yeah, at least for this trilogy, I think they might be switching it up. But yeah, I don't know. There's Homecoming is easy,
Homecoming,
and then there's Far From Home.
Oh yeah, and
now there's No Way Home. So that I get those two confused. I think Homecoming is easy to remember.
Yeah.
But then Far From Home and No Way Home, that's
I keep getting mixed up.
Those are they're too hard to keep straight. But we're going on a lot of tangents. But I do agree. I think that those naming conventions are kind of stupid. Across the Spider-Verse, I think that this was announced to be Across the Spider-Verse a while ago, which makes sense based on the trailer. Because, Into the Spider-Verse kind of is all of these people are...
intro into it.
Yeah, and it just in the story where it's all these people are coming into one dimension, where now it's we're going to be going across a whole lot of different dimensions. Interestingly, it looks like that Spider-Man 2099 is going to be the bad guy. Weird pick.
I can mess with it. I'm sick of the usual Spider-Man villains.
True. That was one of the things that I really liked about Into the Spider-Verse, where Doc Ock isn't Doc Ock. It's some research chick played by it's I don't remember. It's the chick from Parks and Rec though. Yeah, it's just those subverting of the norm, Even someone like Kingpin, who is who's pretty traditional in his portrayal, is just huge and super exaggerated as his character, which I just think is super fun. But yeah, I'll be the first to admit I do not know much about Spider-Man 2099. I am not a comic book reader.
Looks pretty cool.
He looks cool, and there is a Spider-Man game from early 2010s that is Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, which kind of lays the groundwork for Into the Spider-Verse, frankly, where you play as normal suit Spider-Man, Spider-Man Noir, who's Nick Cage. You play as Spider-Man 2099, and then you play as Black Suit Spider-Man. And then each of them kind of come together at the end. So I don't know much about 2099 aside from that, which in that game you just fought futuristic versions of Spider-Man villains, which was kind of fun. And then in Noir you kind of fought the 1920s gangster versions, which was also kind of fun. I like the subverting of normal, Spider-Man lore, I guess. Which is what Into the Spider-Verse and that game does. We'll have to see what happens. I enjoyed the kind of continuation from the ending of Into the Spider-Verse into this trailer, because the ending of Into the Spider-Verse is Gwen peeking through the portal as Miles is chilling out listening to Post Malone and Sway Lee. And that's exactly where the trailer starts. And I thought that it was pretty funny. And then there was that fight scene with 2099 and Miles Morales. But yeah, that's coming out October 7th.
Yes.
Of next year. So pretty fast coming up.
I'm ready.
I'm ready too. That next year's gonna be stacked.
Gotta
'Cause-
bring out the Jays again.
Oh yeah, I forgot
have
you had the Jays.
official Spider-Man Jordan ones.
You should
my
never
prized
sell
possession.
those. Yeah,
I'm never selling them.
that-
They're
that-
like $800 plus right now, but
Yeah.
I'm never selling them.
those are like the coolest. I love
Yeah,
it.
those are like the coolest thing I own.
Yeah, yeah. You'll have to wear
I
them.
want to wear them to the theater, but theaters are yucky.
Oh,
It's
true.
like, do I wear them or not?
You'll have to wear like those sneaker bags.
Yeah. One so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Release
Yeah.
another pair. Please.
Oh, they might. You never know.
Miles probably wears the same thing though. So.
Yeah. It'll be interesting because, like, what do you even? Because now he's just
do a lot
wearing
of
the
things with it.
Miles suit. He isn't wearing like.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in the hoodie version because that was like the coolest
yeah, I
bit.
love that.
And now he's just kind of wearing the traditional Miles suit, which is fine.
But I'm very ready.
I'm ready for
I
that too.
don't really care about the main Spider-Man trilogy at the moment. Like, it's cool,
Mm-hmm.
but Spider-Verse is where I'm really like, all right, I'm a Marvel guy for just this movie.
Just
and nothing
Spider-Man.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my stance on it too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much just watching the Marvel stuff just so that Spider-Man movie makes sense to me. Which is, I would probably get shot in the street by any Marvel stan, but frankly, they probably don't know how to shoot a gun. So I think I'm okay. But yeah, I think that, Into the Spider-Verse is it's probably the best Spider-Man movie.
Oh, for sure.
Spider-Man 2 comes real close, but I don't know. Spider-Verse is just so good. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they're probably one of the best comedy duos in the game right now. And they are back to Across the Spider-Verse. They made that Mitchells versus the Machines movie, which I have yet to see. I do want to check that out.
Yeah, I want to see that one.
Well, maybe we'll watch it together sometime. But I've heard great things, like people saying that it's as good as Spider-Verse, which the trailer made it look horrible. So that took me by surprise because I was like, man, I get that they're like trying to do like this, like Onward or Up or something where like they have this strained relationship and then over the road trip. Yeah, that's what I thought they were going for. Was just that kind of like pull at your heartstrings, kind of bring the family together kind of movie. And then they're like, and there's aliens, robots, and I'm like, okay, no, you can't do both. And then people saw it and they're like, this is the best animated movie this year. It's better than Soul. And I'm like, okay, I have to see this movie now. And it's made by two of my favorite writer-directors out there. I feel like I should definitely see it. The thing was that theaters weren't around and it was a Netflix exclusive. And I don't usually watch movies by myself. Or I didn't. I do now. I didn't back then.
Yeah.
But we'll have to... we'll watch that at some point, but
We will partake.
yes, yeah, I'm excited. This new Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse movie looks promising. I like the whole each verse having its own like animation style. I think that if they push that, that could be really interesting. Because Miles the dimensions, it's it's very distinguishable. There's that very, iconic feel where it's like animated on twos. I believe that's the technical term where, well, I think the whole thing's going to be animated on twos, but it's just every other frame is skipped. And I think that's what I got from the new trailer, even when they were in the other dimensions where everything was all weird and neon-y. But, Miles' stuff looks like a comic book. You could do like the anime world or the noir world or the Spider-Ham world. I would love to see those worlds kind of fleshed out and given like a very unique art style. There's a lot of potential there.
Go Adventure Time on them. Just
Yeah.
go 110% on every area.
Or do like that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where they go to like all the different
Channel
cartoons.
Chasers. Classic.
Yeah, that would be fun. I think that there's some cool stuff you could do here visually that, I think Into the Spider-Verse did a great job visually. I would love to see that pushed. in the next film. But I think that's it for what I've got in terms of stuff to talk about. We talked about Twin Peaks last week. Don't need to talk about that anymore. Always Sunny's back.
So you think, yeah, Always Sunny is back.
Yes. Don't really need to do an in-depth conversation on that. It's a good
No,
show.
it's just 2 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 2 is a lot better than episode 1.
I agree. Episode 2. I love when they go meta. Like, I think one of my favorite episodes of Always Sunny is the gang tries desperately to win an award where, like, they're just trying to replicate The Office. And, like, you can tell that, like, they're super salty because they've been on for, like, 11 seasons and never been nominated for anything because they're a sitcom. And then they're like, is it because of, like, what street we're on? And it's like, no, there was a show that was on, like, just up the road or there was a bar that was just up the road that got nominated for one, talking about Atlanta. And they're like, oh, I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. I love when they do stuff like that. And so when they were talking about the Lethal Weapon movies, the Lethal Weapon episodes getting pulled from Hulu, and they did briefly bring up, I think there was a couple episodes where Dee dressed up like a Puerto Rican woman.
Yeah.
Yes, frick, it's like Melanie Martinez. I think that's what her character's name is. But that's like her shtick, is that she just does like stereotypes of racial groups, and it's like I get that, but I just thought it was kind of funny when they poke fun at.
I mean, it's good satire.
It
because
is, yeah.
The whole show was a satirical look at, like, these characters of
that are bad,
brain dead Americans. So
yeah, I think that's like one of the biggest appeals to it.
yeah.
And I've been watching not watching. I always say that. I'm not watching a podcast. I've been listening to the Always Sunny podcast, which, by the way, highly recommend it. They were recording it as they were writing this new season, and they give like a lot of insight on the writing process that they do. And since they're kind of like going through the episodes, which I'm gonna say like going through in like big air quotes, because they hardly ever talk about what episode they're supposed to be talking about. It's kind of like listening to this podcast where we're supposed to be talking
They're
about
just all over the place.
yeah. They're all over the place. They're just having a
To be
good
fair,
time.
when you have 15 seasons, it's kind of hard to keep them straight, I would think.
True, and they're
I
talking.
get confused on what episodes are in what season, like, all the time. I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a pretty big Always Sunny fan. I couldn't tell you. And these guys have been doing it for like 15 seasons, so probably they took a couple hiatuses, so probably like 20 years, and they're trying to remember where they were in like 2004 or whatever. And it's like, okay, I don't blame them for just talking about whatever, but it's just fun hearing those guys talk. They riff off each other, and you can tell they've been friends for a while, and it's just them having a conversation and then just realizing that they're on a tangent and then trying to get back on track, and then that never
Sounds
works.
familiar.
It sure does. And they're fun guys. And Always Sunny is great. Check out the show
Do it.
if you haven't somehow.
Hashtag ad.
We're sponsored by FX.
By FX and Hulu.
Yep. Watch American Horror Story, Atlanta, and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. 3 shows that are near identical to each other because they're on the same network.
That's all they have.
That's all they have. Name another FX show. I'll wait.
Unless you want weird TV movies.
That's right. I can't think of another FX show.
I can't.
And I don't even think American Horror Story is like, that's a Hulu show now, I think. I don't know.
No, I thought it was still
American Crime Story. That's another FX show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Do you want to watch O.J. Simpson trial or the assassination of Gianni Versace?
Oh, boy, do I.
Frick, what's the new season? Frick. It was like another big trial that was in the 90s or 2000s. I don't care.
I didn't know the show existed, so I can't help you.
Oh, well, you are aware that there was an O.J. Simpson trial show.
Yeah, of course.
With Cuba Gooding.
Yes, I didn't know it was called American Crime Story.
Yes. Then there was a second one, the assassination of Gianni Versace. Then there's a third one being made right now. I don't think it was like when the O.J. Simpson one came out, it was pretty much just called like the trial of O.J. Simpson.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, but the headline was always American Crime Story. They're doing something. They're
Little
expanding.
ACS.
Yeah, they're expanding the American Horror Story. They're just making it real crime things, which I've heard great things. Those.
Oh yeah,
those
those are
sho-
always interesting.
Yeah. And, those shows come out and they're nominated for 1,000 Emmys and everyone walks home happy and they all kiss each other on the mouth. I don't care. John Travolta wins for being... No, he's not Robert Kardashian. That's the guy from Friends. David Schwimmer is Robert Kardashian, which I think is funny. John Travolta is someone else, and then Cuba Gooding is O.J. Simpson, which I remember some people being angry about that because he doesn't sound like O.J. Simpson or look like O.J. Simpson. But it's like, Cuba Gooding's a good actor. I don't care. He was in Boys in the Hood,
Classic.
Who else has that portfolio of being O.J. Simpson and also being referenced in a Kendrick Lamar song?
True. Zero, I think.
Has he referenced O.J. Simpson?
I don't think he's referenced O.J. Simpson.
Oh, frick. I think he has. Oh,
Has
I think it's on Good Kid, too.
I
Frick.
haven't been in the loop in a while.
Kendrick O.J.
I may have listened to thousands of Kendrick Lamar songs, or like hours of Kendrick Lamar songs, but not in a while.
Yeah, I've been listening to it recently.
There was probably an OJ reference that does sound a little familiar now that you say it.
It's on Go DJ Freestyle. I thought it was on an
that's a Kendrick
actual.
Lamar EP.
Yeah, I thought that was on there. No, there's for sure. Oh, it's on Backstreet Freestyle. I look like OJ killing everything from pussy to a
Oh, yeah,
motherfucking
yeah,
hit
yeah.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like, there's for sure an OJ reference. So
Let's say it could fit into the rhyme scheme really well. I just don't know where it is.
yeah. So that leaves two people who have played OJ and have been referenced by Kendrick Lamar.
That's crazy.
I don't know if there's gonna be any more, honestly.
It's just weird that it's happened twice,
Well, I mean,
I guess.
he brought up Cuba Gooding when he was talking about Trey from Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There might be another OJ. There's no way there's going to be another OJ.
No.
That trial of OJ Simpson thing was so big.
Yeah, no.
Well, who knows? You never know. They could do it. What were we supposed to be talking about?
I don't know.
Talk about music.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is my segment.
Yeah, this is your segment.
Was
the
the
reins.
Grammys this week? The Grammys nominations were
The
this week.
Grammys nominations were this week.
Yes,
Early this
November
week.
23rd.
That was 2 weeks ago. Did we not talk
was.
about it last week?
We didn't talk about it last week.
Wow, what cowards we are.
We are idiots.
Wow. Okay.
But I guess we can go through those. I do have actual music stuff, but it's not a lot, so we can go through these real quick. The important categories.
Okay.
We might have touched on it last week, but I didn't actually read categories or anything. I don't know why.
I
That's
don't know.
Completely leaving me.
Yeah.
But Grammys, our feelings on those probably they don't matter, but we like going through it anyways because it's fun,
Sure.
and we like getting angry when things aren't picked because we are the general public.
I thought that The Weeknd would have gotten picked for the Grammys this year. I thought that was
The Weeknd
surprising.
had a good shot.
Yeah, I don't get that.
But album of the year this year, we had 10 albums nominated.
Is
It's
that
a lot more than usual.
okay? What's normal?
Like 8, I think.
Oh, okay.
But you get your usual. I guess we can just go through all of them. John Batiste, We Are. I don't know that.
Wow.
Love for Sale, Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga. Don't know that one.
I've seen
Justice,
that cover.
Justin Bieber.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's a good one.
That is
Just
a
kidding.
great one.
That's a great album. Planet Her, Doja Cat, Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish. Big surprise.
Yeah.
Back of My Mind, Her. Again, big surprise. I feel like Her only exists in the Grammys and nowhere else.
True.
Montero, Lil Nas X.
Oh, good.
Sour, Olivia Rodrigo. And then two of them
Classic.
were added last minute. So we have Evermore,
Oh.
Taylor Swift, and Donda, Kanye
Oh,
West.
right. I forgot Evermore was nominated.
Yes, last minute. They're
Weird.
like at the last minute before they did it, they were like, let's put Evermore and Donda in there, which makes me think that they're not winning. But
Yeah, no, they're well. I don't know
I
if
don't know
I would
how
expect
when
Donda
they-
to win. I don't feel like Kanye has a pretty good shot at appeasing the
Kanye
Grammys
does not have a good
crowd.
rep with the Grammys.
No, I'm gonna let you finish, but
Yeah, that was
I don't know.
BMAs, but I
Well,
mean,
you know, same
he
thing.
did
It's
pee
an
on his
award
Grammy
show.
last year. So.
That's true. That is surprising that they
Yeah.
nominated them. Then
Well, I mean, the album is great, so maybe they just like let's just give him one.
we'll just have to
But-
see if Taylor Swift wins, and then if
Oh,
Kanye comes out and is like, "I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna do this again."
He's reformed. He's reformed.
Yeah, he's a Christian now.
He's a Christian.
Yeah.
But the new thing this year is for the album of the year, every single person that contributed gets a Grammy. So if Donda wins, there's going to be
Oh,
like
frick.
75 people that get Grammys. Unfortunately, that includes Marilyn Manson and DaBaby.
Oh.
But I feel like the good outweighs the bad here.
What about Chris Brown?
That means, oh yeah, Chris Brown gets one.
Oh,
But that means Baby
no.
Keem, Conway, Jay Electronica, West Side Gun, Jay-Z, Kid Cudi, all those people would get a Grammy, which is cool.
I don't know. Should they get a Grammy for a feature though?
I don't know. The features are pretty quintessential in that album sound. So
I guess. I don't know.
I
It just
think it's only for album of the year now. So it's like
oh, okay.
just for this reward.
Okay, I guess that makes sense then.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know if they would give it to Billie Eilish again after she sweeped the Grammys last year.
Was that last year?
I think it was. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Might have been 2 years
I
ago.
don't know.
Yeah,
thought
it was
Bad
because
Girl-
Folklore won last year.
right.
The
Yeah.
Grammys were so low key last year that I forgot about them.
Yeah. I saw something though that like if like Evermore somehow wins album of the year, then it would be like Taylor Swift would be like one of like 4 artists that have won album of the year back to back, which would
Yeah.
be kind of cool.
And
but-
she's already got rewards on rewards, so
True.
she's got so many things.
Yeah.
But I could see Billie Eilish winning. Obviously, what do I want to win? Probably Montero or Donda.
Mm.
I think those are both really great albums. I feel like Montero would be a good pick here,
I like Montero. I think that's a good
just based
pick.
off of public reception and personal bias. I would say Montero is probably the best. I
Yeah.
could also see Olivia Rodrigo winning.
Yeah, I could see that. Or I don't know. What about Doja Cat?
Doja Cat. Ooh, I don't know.
That
I
one's
could see
one's
that.
big.
It is big. Doja Cat's kind of blown up.
Mhm.
I don't know. There's always like a dark horse where the Grammys like will throw a curveball.
Yeah.
But I don't see John Batiste, Lady Gaga, or Justin Bieber winning.
No.
Her, I feel like it's nominated for literally everything, but she won't win Album of the Year.
Yeah. I don't know.
And Taylor could win, but I feel like Folklore was the bigger one.
Yeah, even though I think Evermore is better.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. Some days I'll like Evermore, some days I'll like Folklore.
I think Evermore is a better album, but Folklore has the better songs.
It's got a better sound to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. They're both great.
they're both great. Song of the Year, we got Bad Habits, Ed Sheeran. Yikes.
Great.
Beautiful Noise, Alicia Keys and Brandy Carlisle. Driver's License, Olivia Rodrigo.
Of course.
Fight for You, Her from the
What's
it's
that?
a soundtrack.
Is that from the
What is it?
is
I
it
forgot the movie name.
the Western one? We keep forgetting
No,
it.
no, no, no.
Oh.
The Black Panther one.
Oh, Judas and the Black Messiah?
Yes, that one.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So from that soundtrack.
Okay.
Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish. Kiss Me More, Doja Cat. Leave the Door Open, Silk Sonic.
Yeah, yeah.
Montero, Lil Nas X. Peaches, Justin Bieber, and Right on Time, Brandy Carlisle. She gets 2 songs in Song of the Year. That's crazy.
Well, she was featured on one, right?
She was featured on one, yeah.
Okay. Well, that was
Um,
like wasn't like Meg the Stallion like nominated for 3 last year?
Yeah, she
'Cause
was kind of crazy last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, ooh, I'd like to see Leave the Door Open and get it, even though I think
Even
Silk Sonic
though-
is going to sweep the Grammys next year. But-
Yeah.
You know, get an early one.
Sure. I think that's probably the best song out of there
Yeah.
that I've
I
heard.
do think it's going to be that, or it's going to be Driver's License.
I could see Driver's
Because that song
License.
is massive.
It
But
sure
I'd be
is.
happy with Driver's License. I'd be happy with Billie Eilish. Montero would be cool too, but I feel like Lil Nas X is about to win a lot of awards, so I don't know if he needs to get Song of the Year.
No, he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
And Montero's not even my favorite song on the record.
No, Industry Baby is like far ahead
Yes.
of everything for me. So,
Mhm.
but best new artist, Arouge Aftab. I don't know who they are. Jimmy Allen, Baby Keem, Phineas, Glass Animals, Japanese Breakfast, Kid Leroy, Arlo Parks, Olivia Rodrigo, and Saweetie. McDonald's
Oh.
meal, Sweetie.
Oh, the McDonald's meal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would love to see Baby Keem win, personally, but I feel like Japanese Breakfast or Olivia Rodrigo has it.
I think Olivia Rodrigo has that in the
Could
bag.
pull out a Phineas just because they do love him.
That's
but
true.
I feel like as a solo artist, he isn't there yet.
No, I haven't heard very much about his solo stuff.
The stuff with Billy is fantastic, but like solo, I don't know. Arlo Parks is also really great, so I think her getting an award would be pretty sick.
Yeah, but this is the Grammys, though.
It is the Grammys. Japanese Breakfast is on the come up though too. So
yeah, she was in the song in Sable.
Yes,
I remember that. Yeah.
She also has an album I haven't listened to yet, and I should because people keep putting it on lists. But what do you want me to do?
Listen to it.
Yeah, Baby Keem would be cool, but I doubt it. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Phoebe got nominated for like 17 awards last year and won 0, so I have trust issues.
Yeah, that's true.
This I don't care about. This I don't care about.
Wow. Baby doesn't care
Just trying to
about
hit
music.
the big categories. Yeah,
Cancel
the rock
him.
album category is kind of weak this year.
What do you mean? He had the hottest verse ever.
Not that rock.
Oh,
Oh, dang it.
Rick. It's all about power.
It really is all about power.
Yeah, that's what The Rock taught me.
Ooh, best alternative music albums kind of stacked this year.
Yeah.
We got Shore, Fleet Foxes, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power, Halsey, Jubilee, Japanese Breakfast, Collapse and Sunbeams, Arlo Parks, and Daddy's Home, St. Vincent. That's a stacked category.
Wow.
Wow.
They got Daddy's
I don't
Home?
even know what I'd pick. They do got Daddy's Home.
Whoa. I don't know anything about Daddy's Home. I think
Apparently it's really good.
I think it's an
There's
Ice
some I haven't
Cube
heard this year,
film.
but yeah.
I don't know.
I don't have an opinion on those because I haven't heard a lot of them, but I know they're all good. So
You've heard Shore Fleet Foxes.
I've heard Shore. That's it.
Okay.
Best R&B performance, Silk Sonic's gonna win, so we don't even need to say the other. Why is
Yeah.
Justin Bieber an R&B?
Because he's an R&B artist. He's even better than Silk Sonic. I'll say it.
True. I'll say it.
I'll say what needs to be said, what everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
Better than Silk Sonic.
Best melodic rap performance is kind of stacked. You got Pride is the Devil, J. Cole, Need to Know, Doja Cat, Industry Baby, Lil Nas
Okay.
X, Was Your Name, Tyler the Creator, and
Okay.
Hurricane, Kanye and The Weeknd.
Okay, though
That's a good
that's a
category.
good category. I
I'd
like
be happy with all these.
yeah. I'd like Industry Baby, Hurricane, or What's Your Name, I think for me.
I personally want What's Your Name just because Young Boy would be better in that sense.
Ooh,
So,
that is a good point. Yes, very good point.
best rap album, Off Season, J. Cole, Certified Lover Boy, Let's Go.
Yo!
King's Disease 2, Nas, Call Me If
Nas.
You Get Lost, Tyler the Creator, and Donda, Kanye West. I would like to see Drake and Nas out, and Vince Staples and Lil Sims in.
I
But other
thought
than
you
that, not
liked
that far.
Nas.
It's a good album, but he just won last year for best rap album, so he's not going to win
Oh.
again. So why even waste the space? You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, no, I would
Again-
have liked Little Sims too.
Yeah, that would have been a good thing. She's winning awards all over the place because Britain has Mercury Awards, which is a really good thing that I think the U.S. should do.
What is that?
It's where they get nominated for like an award where it isn't like the Grammy thing, but like they'll specifically get called out for it. So like Black Country New Road has won some, Black Midi has won some.
Oh.
So it's like smaller artists. It's not just like the big names,
That's cool.
but then they get performances and stuff. So that would be cool to do in the U.S., even though it would still probably be like covered in mainstream stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm seeing Call Me If You Get Lost as a winner here. I think if Donda wins anything, it's winning Album of the Year.
I don't know. I don't know if it will.
It'd be weird, but the Grammys have been doing a lot of like covering their tracks. So
True.
maybe a bold move, something like this. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I think Tyler needs to win best.
I'd
rap
like
album
to
again,
see
though.
some Tyler wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casey Musgraves is nominated for 1 Grammy
Oh, wow.
in Best Country Solo Performance with Camera Roll.
That's
So-
not a country song.
Actually, it's nominated for 2 country awards. Best Country Song too. She's not even in the Best Country Album though, because it's not a country
It's
album.
not a country
Yeah, that
album.
news. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fair.
Oh yeah, it's not. But like, the Grammys seem to put black artists in wrong categories all the time, so
Yeah.
they could have put Casey in the country. Who knows?
Yee. Yeah. No,
And I think all this is nothing. So
I think what you need to understand about the Grammys is that every single black artist is either rap or R&B
yes, or their new category, progressive R&B,
or
which
melodic
I don't
rap.
know what that is.
What a world, huh?
What a world!
That's my favorite
think
Casey
that's it.
Musgraves song.
That is a good one.
Thanks. Well, I think that might be it for the podcast then. 'Cause don't
I have
have
song
anything.
stuff.
Oh, okay.
Just seeing if there's anything else for Grammys. I think "Call Me by Your Name" is nominated for Best Music Video. So if that doesn't win, then
I
there should be
think
a
that
riot.
that's a good one.
That should be a safe pick, I would say.
Yeah.
We do have a couple songs this week and an
Oh,
album
my.
that didn't come out this week, but I listened to.
The Coldplay song.
Of course, the Casey Musgraves Coldplay
The
Chipotle commercial.
Yes.
Best song of the year.
I'd say.
But Phoebe Bridgers released this year's Christmas cover. She's done this for the past 5 years or 4 years, I think.
Oh.
But it's a Tom Waits cover, which is weird for a Christmas song. But Day After Tomorrow, 6 minutes long, and it is amazing. Big surprise. She has killed the covers game, not just this year, but every year. I don't understand how she makes songs better than the original. And I hate calling them better than the original because, like, there's no writing credit, but
True.
she just performs them better. But it's still Christmassy. She fits Silent Night into it, like, really smoothly.
Oh.
I think it's just the same, like, chord progression. They just put it into Silent Night. It's very subtle, but it's very sick. I love it.
Huh.
Not what I was expecting this week, but I should have been because it happens every year.
Yeah, that's kind of your bad.
It is my bad, but it's what you like to see. It's like, oh, new Phoebe Bridgers, and then it's like, all right, this is the best song ever made, and then you go back to regular life.
That's the cycle.
Yes, but Black Country New Road also released a song this week.
Oh, is this one called Egg Song?
No,
Oh.
that would be cool. If they just like listed ingredients, they would do something like that too. But this one is Concord with an E on the end, for some
okay.
reason.
That might be the
But
British
this
spelling.
might be their best song. Actually.
Ever?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Like, think Scenes from an Italian Restaurant as a Black Country New Road song.
Okay. That
It is fantastic.
that is high praise.
Yeah. I just love it so much. It's a slow burn. It's, again, 6 minutes. Same length, actually, as the Phoebe Bridgers song. Exactly. That's crazy.
Wow.
But kind of a slow burn, except it's not the slow burn in the fact that you're waiting for something. It's just that it's a little bit, like, a lot more mellow than usual, even though there is a big explosion at the end. But it's perfection. Perfection. I might have to put my Black Country New Road song spot to this one in my end of the year playlist, because I like to do one per artist. So this might replace everything off of for the first time.
Wow.
Man, is it good.
Wow. Okay. I had no idea.
Fantastic. I'm excited for the new one in February. But those were the songs that came out this week. I've been doing some deep diving this week, and it led me to a cover album by Shoo Shoo, who is an experimental rock group. I've been aware of them for many years thanks to the Melon Man. I have never listened to them, though. But I checked out, they did a Twin Peaks cover album
Oh.
of the soundtrack.
Okay.
And it is really good. Like, It's not like a normal cover album where it's like, oh, these are kind of cool, but like, no, they like take the tracks and just expand them. It's actually more Twin Peaks than the Twin Peaks soundtrack,
Well, that's interesting.
but it is really good.
What's it called?
It's just called Shoo Shoo Plays the Music of Twin Peaks. But it's an hour and 8 minutes.
Wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, it is really good.
Weird. Okay. I'll have to.
It started by listening to like the original Twin Peaks soundtrack because like people gave it high praise and I do really like it. But then that led me to this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, getting back into soundtracks a little bit. Deltarune had an amazing soundtrack this year, so I was already kind of in the headspace. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not done with Twin Peaks, so I need to listen to the soundtrack.
Really? You ready
I
to
was
get
not done
back
with
in?
Twin Peaks because I looked up some video essays and stuff. At least put me on the right track because I was getting there, and then the series ended. I'm like, man, I'm so close. I need to keep going.
Oh, frick.
And I do understand now, and it is absolutely brilliant. So
Wow.
Yeah.
I never took you for a David Lynch head,
never.
except
It's so out of my lane.
except for the fact that I think this is the most obvious thing that has ever happened ever.
Yeah. No, but I understand most of it now, and it is absolutely amazing. And I do need to rewatch eventually, but not now because
was
I'm
good.
sick of David Lynch. at the moment.
Like, are you really ready to jump back in
No,
right now?
it'd be like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was right on a couple things for sure, and then like the video did a good job of explaining. It was like a 4.5 hour video too.
You
Which-
watched all that?
I do stuff when I work.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Okay,
good
okay,
background stuff.
yeah,
I'm not just like intently watching this
Okay.
for 4.5 hours.
I
It'd be
was
like
gonna
it's-
say.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I was on the right track there. I was on the right track about a lot of things, right about a couple, but like I missed the overall context of it. And now that I have that, it's like, oh my god,
Was there
it is brilliant.
Mulholland Drive connections?
No,
Okay. Interesting.
we used the same imagery as that movie, but it was serving a different purpose.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
But
Because I didn't know what that
Everything
was
is a
happening.
lot more clear now, so I'd be interested if rewatching it is going to give me. I feel like giving a good context before even watching the show would heighten the experience because you have to look about this show like very differently as soon as you know the basic concept of it.
That's like everything with David Lynch, though.
Yeah,
He's
but,
so weird.
like
yeah.
through watching that video, like the person brought up that there was like they aired the series again on cable in like 1993 and they had the log lady come on before every episode and give like a puzzle or like a
Oh,
hint, and it helps like tremendously. So I'm like, why didn't they do that for streaming? That would have been so helpful
That would have been cool. Yeah.
because she explains everything in like a palatable way. So like when you watch the episode, you know what to look out for.
Dang, that would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Frick. Okay.
Now I have the knowledge, and I'm
And you're a better
very,
person
very-
for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. That's all I'm gonna say is it's nuts.
You're gonna make me
Down
watch
to
the
the
video
point
essay.
where like, yeah,
Oh, you coward.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to watch it or not. But
Well, I want the information, but I don't want to
It's
spend 4.5.
eye-opening.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it is very eye opening. Down to the point where like the dates in episode 8 of the season 3, like the episode, all meant something like in
Oh.
real life.
Oh,
Yeah.
David.
Yeah, he do that thing. But even every food item is significant. And
What the
every it's crazy.
See, I knew I was missing like so much watching it, but like,
I got the coffee and pie thing, but that's as far as I got.
okay, what's the coffee and pie thing? You gotta tell
So
me
coffee
that.
literally drives the investigation forward, and like they wouldn't be able to function without it. It's like hard to explain little bits because you need to have the entire context of it. But those are seen as like light items that like are productive and moving. So you contrast coffee to oil, which is like oil is the way to get to the Black Lodge. And that was explained in like season
Oh,
1. So you have to take substances literally instead of metaphorically, which is something that I struggled with.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then I was right about the Red Room and the saloon in season 3 being the Red Room. So I got
The
that.
saloon. Oh, like the
Yeah.
Roadhouse?
Yeah, the Roadhouse.
Oh, okay.
And I got that once the 9 Inch Nails came on because like those are real life people in a fictional TV show. Like, oh, I got it.
Oh, I didn't know
Ding,
that
ding,
was
ding.
the thing.
Yeah.
But
The
I
Two
am
Worlds thing
dumb.
I was getting there. So there's a lot.
It was too heady. There's
It hurts my
no
head,
way
but at
I
the
would
same
have
time
figured
makes
that out.
complete sense.
Ugh. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying Twin
Yeah,
Peaks.
I understand why it's considered the best TV show of all time now. I wouldn't put it as that because it is
I
hard to watch,
I
but
I don't think it's even considered the best TV show. I think like when like the best TV show is thrown around, you hear Sopranos, The
Breaking
Wire,
Bad,
Breaking
The Wire,
Bad,
yeah.
Atlanta sometimes if you ask Donald Glover, you know. I don't know. There's like some mainstays. I'm sure Twin Peaks is one of those
It
for
is,
like the
yeah.
artsy people. I don't think it's the best.
It's incredibly influential.
It sure is. But I don't think its influences I'm definitely more of its influences. We talked about that last week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, we'll get
would
into
agree as
that
well.
when we get to like I think even The Wire has a lot of stuff from Twin
Yeah.
Peaks just because of what I've seen. I've only seen like the first 10 episodes or so, but there's a lot of stuff in that show where like it's an ensemble cast of characters and you learn a lot about like everybody. And I think that's why it's considered one of the best is that like in a like time where like a lot of TV shows were shown to be like pretty black and white, where it's like, you know,
Dimensional.
yeah, like you got your Law and Orders or whatever. And honestly, this may have been before Law and Order. But you know, like that trope where there is like
Yeah.
there's the cops and they're tracking the bad guys and they are like some rapist, like murderer who like has no conscience. And The Wire kind of flips that on his head where it kind of like shows people in more depth where it's like, yeah, he's a criminal, but like he's doing it to support his daughter, or like he's like stuck in this like family business, or like even some of the cops are awful, which is crazy in like an early 2000s like I guess it's an HBO show, so they kind of had no rules, but you know, there's a lot of more dimension. And I think Twin Peaks does a lot of that too, where it's like,
That literally is the main driving force behind that show. Was
yeah,
literally the idea of why is everything one dimensional and killers are portrayed as only killers and nothing else. It's just one source of evil versus these good people.
that's true.
So
Well,
if you want to break everything down to its core, that's the main idea before adding on all the other crap.
sure, but I'd say like even like surface level stuff where it's like Laura Palmer is the prom queen and everybody like in town knows her as being this like innocent chick, but you watch Fire Walk with Me and she's like
Second
deeply like yeah, like she's selling drugs and she's like prostituting herself and her best friend like, and it's like there's a lot of stuff like that where like, you know, you're getting the whole picture. And I think that's where Twin Peaks has kind of influenced a lot of pop culture-y TV shows and movies, because you know Breaking Bad is like that too. I'd say that
Oh, yeah,
takes it
Breaking
to
Bad's
the
an amazing character portrait.
absolutely. I
You
think
need Twin Peaks to get to Breaking Bad.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's a great stepping stone. But yeah, I don't think there's any way I'm watching Twin
If you
Peaks
go
again.
deeper into the show, though, there's no way it's influenced in a lot of other things because it is like the thing that only David Lynch could do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That does beg the question, why did anyone think that David Lynch could make a Dune movie?
True.
That
When you
is-
have a source material to go off of, he is not going to do well.
No. And I I watched Red Letter Media put out a great video this week where they talked about the David Lynch Dune and compared it to the Denis Villeneuve Dune. And what you need to know about Red Letter Media is that they are huge David Lynch fans. So, like, they don't view the original Dune as particularly a bad movie. They know that it is flawed, but like they for the most part enjoy it.
David Lynch hates that movie. So.
Yeah, David Lynch hates that movie.
Yeah.
But they had this interesting anecdote that I had not heard before, that George Lucas actually brought David Lynch in to direct Return of the Jedi.
God.
I cannot imagine that.
God.
That would have been awful.
Knowing what I know now, that seems like an impossible thing.
Yes. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea, but
Yeah.
he saw. Well, I mean, like the only thing that would have been out, it would have been like Eraserhead, and then I don't even think Blue Velvet was out. It would have been like
No.
another one of his
It would-
black and white movies.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like that's. I think like the one that came out after Eraserhead is like kind of. Oh, it's the Elephant Man. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like pretty poppy, surprisingly. Like it got a lot of popular praise that
That could be why,
Eraserhead
then.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think like as soon as that came out, David Lynch went to George Lucas's office and was like, "Hey, do you want to direct the new Star Wars?" And then David Lynch was like, "What is a Wookiee?" And then George Lucas tried, "What is a Wookiee?" And George Lucas tried to explain it, and he's like, "This is stupid," and then he like
I'm
left.
leaving.
Yeah. But for some reason, when the guy who wrote Dune is like, David Lynch, do you want to write Dune? And he's like, I don't know what Dune is. And he's like, I'll explain it to you. And then he's like, yeah, I'll do it. It's like, okay. I don't know why. Like, why is Star Wars where it's like, that's too crazy. Dune, I can do Dune. But, it took
And
Dune.
then he never did anything like that again.
He never did. I think like,
Mistake.
yeah, he's gone on and said that the production of Dune was a nightmare. So like, I don't think he's ever gonna do anything like studio heavy ever again.
No. I think he's only doing TV shows now because you can watch it on streaming services without ads. So you can make episodes intentionally with no breaks.
That's true.
I think
yeah,
that's the only reason he made season 3.
that could be. And I know he's open to making a season 4. So I don't know. He could.
Which I would love because obviously there needs more clarification.
Yeah, that ending was interesting.
I mean, it made sense to me at the time. Now it makes more sense, but I think you can only make a David Lynch show in the streaming service era.
Yeah, it's
I think-
interesting.
I think when he got out at season 2, because season 2 was like completely Frost. It's not David Lynch,
Yeah,
except for the last episode. which is
there's-
the best episode of the series.
there's some David Lynch stuff in season 2.
There's some, but it's mostly ideas that he had, and then they're trying to make them like David Lynch.
Yeah,
So he had to come in and fix all of it in one episode.
right. Well, just remember, like I remember watching like the beginning of season 2, and like I pretty much said off the get go where it's like, yep, David Lynch is more involved in this one because there is some like weirdo stuff happening at the
Oh
beginning.
yeah, the premiere was like crazy.
Yeah. So I think like I don't know. He must have been there for like the beginning and then the end.
It was like the first 8 episodes, and then the whole like weird like
yeah.
ending. It was
Which we don't need to get into. This is
We don't
not
need
David. This
We've
is not
talked
a.
about it a lot.
We talk about it. I watched. As I was getting stuff ready to put this podcast on audio streaming services, I looked at how many titles we have
Yeah,
in
I
the
know. I
last
looked
month.
earlier this week too. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like we talk about Twin Peaks for like the past month, and I
I
think
mean, it's something that's worth talking about a lot, so it's not like it's a bad thing. But
No.
we are done.
no, and it's better than like when I saw Mulholland Drive or Eraserhead because it's like how do I even discuss something
Explain it
like
to someone
that? Yeah,
that hasn't watched it. Yeah,
especially since like when I was going through that, like you had no experience with David Lynch, and
no,
like you,
so I didn't know. I knew he was a painter, and that was about it.
that's pretty
Which
much
puts
all
me
you
in a
need
certain
to know.
headspace that works. But
Yeah. But yeah, his stuff definitely garners conversation.
it does, and that's that kind of stuff. Like it's when I first discovered JPEG Mafia as well. There's that like thing that clicks in my brain. It's like I need to dig deeper into this because there's a lot more I'm not getting.
Yeah. And I know
It
you
kills me until I find out.
you really dig that kind of stuff though. I
Yeah.
tend to I like the Flash. Well, not the Flash. I don't watch CW shows.
Thank God.
Yes, I just feel like I need to clarify that.
Yeah, of
as
course.
this could be very well be the first podcast that these people
Oh,
are,
yeah.
are,
Yeah,
are
that's true.
hearing of us. I have to be more mindful now.
Hmm.
That's going to be rough,
It
unfortunately.
is. But
Oh.
the video essay is fantastic if you're interested at all. For small portions, I would say take it in small portions. But if you just look up Twin Peaks, like explained, it's literally the first video.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
lot. I know You should probably watch Red Letter Media. They talked about they talked about Fire Walk with Me before The Return came out, and then they talked about The Return after.
Okay.
So I think and they're gonna be more on your side, kind of. Well, not that you need your own ideas repeated to you over and over, but I think they have a lot of interesting insight because they are seasoned critics, and I value their film opinions, even though I do not agree with them 100% of the time.
No, because Fire Walk with Me was the point where it's like, okay, I'm getting it now.
Oh, for
which
sure.
I think was the purpose.
Yeah.
But then season 3 completely just punches you in the face.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Fire Walk with Me is a David Lynch movie.
It is, and it's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I might look at that. That was in my recommended. I was just like, okay, I've watched 4 hours of this. I'm not digging deeper right now.
True. And their stuff isn't going to be like an explained. It's just going to be like, this is what we like about it. This is like what we don't. And that's what
we kind of did last week. So
true.
But now I'm getting to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, you're getting in. You're getting into David Lynch.
I can't get out now. So.
You just wait. You're gonna watch Eraserhead, and you're gonna be like, "This is the greatest film I've ever seen."
Well, now I know how to view his stuff.
True.
I was struggling with it for Twin Peaks until like the movie, and then I'm like, okay, this is how he uses things. Yes. And then we had to go through the absolute like horror show of season 3.
Yes. Everything is too loud, which is funny because his character can't hear anything. Do you think there's any ties there? The fact that he doesn't know how to do audio.
I love how he's like digitally bad at audio mixing.
I know.
No, but he plays himself in the show, literally.
Oh yeah, no. I've seen like interviews. He is that
David
guy.
Lynch in Twin Peaks is David Lynch.
Yeah. Which is, good. I like
There's a reason he's called the director, Gordon Cole. He's literally the director.
You sneaky guy. Oh, David Lynch. Do you think we could say his name more in a podcast episode next week?
God. Well, I mean, we've had our David Lynch name drops in like the high 30s for the past 4 weeks. So
that's true. And
they're gonna dip.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the last time I'm bringing it up. I just needed to share my discoveries and the good albums that come along with it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot this was all because of the cover album.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about. I don't know. What are we even going to talk about when we finish Flapjack? It's a good show.
I don't know. We just really like Flapjack. There's not much else.
Yeah. I think
after Twin Peaks, we just needed something that's not Twin Peaks.
For sure. And I think we're going to be going, well, I know, I'm not thinking. We're going to be going into Succession next.
Yeah.
And that is a dense show.
Let's go.
Which I'm actually excited. I think that this one's going to be good. I think.
A dense show that I can understand immediately is good.
That's the dream.
Not a show that I have to understand on one level and then look behind the curtain for another level while still watching it and trying not to claw my eyes out at the same time.
Yes. I think that's the important distinction there. Well, we'll see. In a couple weeks, we'll talk about Flapjack, and then, we'll get started on Succession. I think there's 2 seasons out, 3 seasons. The 3rd season is coming out right now, weekly. Mm-hmm. So by the time we get to it, season 3 might be done. Depends on how fast we get through Flapjack and Succession. But I think with that might be podcast. Yes.
That's a podcast.
Do we want to end these different now that we're on things?
God, we probably should. We're really bad at intros and outros.
Yeah.
At least for main channel videos, our intro here is good. But
I've absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, you got it down pat now.
It took a little bit, but we got there.
Watch us on YouTube if you're watching on Spotify, and watch us on Spotify if you're listening on YouTube. I guess listening is the right term there, not watching.
We're on both places.
We're on both places. And check out the main channel if you're interested in us. reacting to things
Yeah, we
in a more
react.
structured format.
We react to albums. We don't react to movies. We talk about movies and TV here.
Yes.
Strictly music on the main channel, so that the YouTube algorithms knows where to send us.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it should be linked. If assuming I set up everything correctly, should be linked in the show description. And yeah, I don't know how to end it. This is a podcast, and I am Mark Wahlberg.
Miles Morales.
Oh,
That's
no, yeah,
what you started with.
No,
so,
you're right. I'm gonna have to keep track of this now.
yeah.
I'm Miles Morales. Catch ya
Have a great
on the
night. Have a
flip
great life.
side. Yeah. Okay. Bye.